Today we are going to talk about what is going to happen to the Keppel Country Club land plot, the interest rate hike and more. Hi everyone, Casey here from Home Quarters. This is Singapore Property Update for May 2022. Sit back, relax and let's go. For the HDB segment, HDB resale price climbed at a slower pace of 2.3% in Q1, HDB Flash estimate. Resale HDB price rose in Q1 this year, 2.3% up from Q4 2021. However, it looks like the rate of increase is slowing down, as seen by the 3.4% jump between Q3 and Q4 last year. Interestingly, the number of flats selling for $1 million and above continued to be about the same in Q4 of 2021 and Q1 of 2022. But with 35,000 flats reaching their MOP this year, these newer flats are likely to keep resale price up for 2022. HDB resale volume recovered in March as price rise for 21 straight months, SRX99.co. March saw a 19.2% jump in HDB resale volume. The recovery has been attributed to easing of COVID measure, which allows for more viewing, resulting in correspondingly rising in sales volume. Resale price rise for 21 straight months, up 0.7% from Feb. The most popular flat type is a 4-room flat, but 3-room flat saw the biggest price jump. We expect these trends to continue for the next few months ahead. So sellers and buyers out there, contact Home Quarters if you are keen to move, because as we always say, call Home Quarters and start packing. Surroundings suggest campus site to be used for public housing. Expect a Balestier Queenstown School site earmarked for housing with a major merger exercise of primary schools, the former Mei Chin Primary and Secondary School, together with the current Singapore campus of Curtin University at Jalan Raja, will soon make way for residential development, with demolition tenders currently underway by the Housing Board. The government will watch war effect on construction sector. No major further disruption to supply of BTO project material. Good news for those waiting for their BTO. The Ukraine crisis has so far not caused any significant disruption to construction material supply and progress to BTO project. The Housing Development Board has also worked to recruit more workers from various countries and share the cost of bringing in migrant workers for the construction sector. At present, median waiting time for project launch in 2020 and 2021 is 4.5 to 3.8 years respectively. The average waiting time for 17 BTO projects completed in 2021 was 4.3 years. So it looks like a 4 to 5 years wait for most ongoing projects. However, some analysts expect that to change with the strict lockdown in China, possibly causing production delay in the coming months. 4 Ang Mo Kio HDB blocks identified for Sears. 4 blocks of HDB flats in Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3 with 56 years left on their lease has been slated for the selective redevelopment scheme, the first Sears project in 4 years. Owners of 606 units affected will sell their flat back to the government at market value and be offered to buy and move to new HDB flat at Ang Mo Kio Drive. Keppel Club site likely to see keen competition from developer. 6,000 HDB flat to be built on Keppel Club site. 4-room BTO flat at Keppel Club site could cost $700,000. 9,000 HDB flat private home to rise from Keppel Club site. Upcoming unit at Keppel Club site will attract keen interest from home buyers, analysts. The first BTO project in 3 years will be on the Keppel Club site in the Greater Southern Waterfront. Yet to be decided is if the project will fall under the prime location housing model. But it's estimated that 4-room flat there will sell between $600,000 to $700,000, and a 3-room flat there will cost around $400,000 to $500,000. Expect keen interest in the project as its proximity to the CBD will surely put it on its way to becoming a vibrant and iconic waterfront live, work and play destination. Alright, next for private property. Private home price growth slowed sharply on cooling measure. We reported this last month, but we wanted to include this again as the bright spark was in the landed property segment, which gained 4%, the highest quarterly increase since Q1 of last year. The other side of the coin, the hardest hit was the non-landed residential in the RCR or Rest of Central region at the fringe of the city, falling by 3%. Elsewhere, price in the suburb rose 1.9% in Q1, even as volume of transactions declined. Price gap between RCR and CCR home narrows in March. If you have been eyeing home in the prime district of 1911, it may now be the time with the gap narrowing between the price of this area and those outside the prime area. March saw medium CCR price falling 4.9% from Feb, while prices in RCR and OCR were up 4.8 to 5.7%. In real term, we are looking at a median price of 2.24 million in CCR versus 1.86 and 1.75 in RCR and OCR respectively, making this prime property looks very attractive right about now. No big launches but more new private homes sold. Developer managed to sell more new home in March, 20.7% up from Feb, thanks to relaxation of viewings, even though there is no notable launches. Developers postponed launches as they are expecting the market to be wary of the cooling measure that came into effect in December last year. But demand is expected to pick up in the second half of 2022 with a spread of new launches in stock. Perfect 10 pricing show early buyers don't always get the best deal. Price cut at Perfect 10 condo netted at least one early buyer. When the 230 units of District 10 Perfect 10 luxury condo was launched 3 days after cooling measures kicked in, the Hong Kong-based developer CK Asset offered a one-time discount of 5% off listed price, but in the 4 months in, it seems like some units have continued to be marketed at 5% off and in some cases even more apparent. A buyer who took advantage of the 5% off at launch is seeking compensation to make up for the difference between a 5% discount and the greater than 5% discount that other buyers have been given. So far, the developer has not responded to the legal request for compensation, but industry analysts are surprised by the multiple price revision this soon after launch. Head Road flat sold en bloc above owner asking price at 49.3 million on the third attempt. Head Road flat sold en bloc at 49.3 million above asking price. A 27,000 plus square feet freehold site fronting Head Road and Seraya Lane has gone en bloc for the third time, selling at 49.3 million, 1.3 million above the asking price. The Nanchong Group, developer of Thomson Impression and Sterling Residence, the sale equate to a 1,286 per square foot per plot ratio. The site sits close to Katong Shopping Centre, Paya Lebar Commercial Hub, Tanjong Katong Girls, Head Girls School, Chongqing High and Canadian International School. To end off the private segment, condo resale volume rebound up 35.6% in March. SRX99.co, condo resale volume rebound in March as prices continue to climb. Resale condo price rose for the 20th straight month in March, with transaction volume also picking up after falling for 6 months. Month on month, prices were up slightly 0.8% and volume 35.6%. Easing of COVID restriction allowed for more viewing that helped sales in March. Expect the opening of borders to bring in more overseas buyers too, despite a 30% extra stamp duty, which does not seem to be a deterrent. Demand for condo in the suburb is still high, as evident by 61.1% of all March sales volume, with supply still much lacking. So expect prices of suburban condo to stay high. Next up is the commercial and industrial sector. MBS has granted 1 more year to start building its $4.5 billion extension. STB has granted MBS a 1-year reprieve from start of its $4.5 billion expansion. The plan is part of the original agreement under which MBS and RWS pledged to commit a combined $9 billion into non-gaming attraction. More local attractions are coming soon. Alright, stand chart to slash office spaces at MBFC in what is likely to be the largest floor reduction by a bank in recent years. Stand chart is said to have set to cut half of about 9 floors in Singapore's financial district at MBFC. The prime grade office rental rising for the third consecutive quarters and up 1.2% in Q1 from Q4 of last year. Sentosa will adopt a flexible work arrangement to reinvest and refresh their premise and create a more open and conducive environment for collaboration. Border reopening is godsend to Singapore retail space landlord. Easing of travel restriction and office capacity limit is expected to increase footfall in shopping malls, which bode well for business and landlords. Analysts are expecting 2 to 4% increase in prime retail rent for 2022 as a whole, while suburban malls performed better during the pandemic. Loosening of border control and safe management measures are expected to benefit malls everywhere. Alright, last but not least, these are the news that affect the whole market. Are most households able to service mortgage even as interest rate picks up? Alvin Tan. Exercise financial prudence in home purchases? Alvin Tan. The Minister of State for Trade and Industry has warned home buyers to be prudent in their borrowing to ensure interest rate hike will not adversely affect household spending ability. Even though household debt remains generally healthy, a small section of the highly leveraged household will feel the pinch. This is especially relevant as domestic interest rates are expected to go up in correspondence to global rates. Workspaces near home, more vibrant CBD among land use idea. An URA discussion with 200 members of the public has raised some interesting ideas to guide our long-term land use and infrastructure development. Ideas include workspace located near residents to promote a car-like environment, short-term lease site and flexible with spaces like urban farming and using underground and sea spaces, and a more vibrant CBD. The review is conducted every 10 years and is a launchpad for more detailed plan that map out the land and infrastructure requirement so we can steward scarce land resources and cater to increasing diverse needs. Alright, so that's it for May 2022. Come back next month for more Singapore property updates. If you are keen to work together with Home Quarters to help you properly expose your unit for sale or to purchase your dream home or investment, reach out to us at 8809-2889 or go to our website homequarters.com.sg. My name is Casey from Home Quarters. To know more about Singapore real estate tips and tricks by subscribing, following and liking us on YouTube, Instagram and Facebook at Home Quarters SG. And remember, call Home Quarters and start packing.